Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today it is time to yet again check out Tom MacDonald, Thomas McDougalson, Tommy McTom Tiddly Doo, and Adam Calhounathan, who is much less frequent on our channel. Of course, as usual, Tom is interrupting my lunch. Yes, I know days in advance, like everyone else does, that Tom's releasing a video, and it's always at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But it doesn't mean I'm changing my lunch schedule for you, Thomas. I just get the distinct impression that Tom likes our little lunch dates. That's why he keeps doing this. Now, if you're wondering why I'm not wearing the mask, you've been gone way too long. If you're wondering why I don't have my full beard, well, that's because I've been busy making some subpar content outside of this. You know, you should check out some of that subpar content, especially if you like goofy rap battles and terrible props. There's an episode you can watch right now, Weird Al versus Bo Burnham. I'll pin a link below. And then there's one that comes out tomorrow, Saturday, January 22nd at 6:30 p.m. during halftime, in case you're an NFL football fan. There's no reason not to be there. And that's the plug. I guess I should have mentioned that the new matchup is Captain Planet versus Captain America. Captain Planet will haunt your dreams. But not Thomas. I know Thomas is into that. That's why he keeps inviting me to these lunch dates with his songs. New World Order. Let's get into it. Also, I always forget to address, like, if you're new here, because I assume no one's new here because YouTube doesn't recommend me anymore because I've been put on too many naughty boy lists. But if you're new to the channel, welcome. Don't forget to drop a like, comment on the actual video, and subscribe. I'm a musician who does this sometimes too. I don't do a lot of reactions on this channel. Tom MacDonald and Epic Rap Battles are pretty much the only reactions you'll see on this channel. But I got a whole channel for reactions if you want to see more reactions. That's the other plug.
Here's the problem with America.
We just starting. We're just... no lube. Just give it to me, Tom.
The country is broken because they minds stay closed, but they mouths stay open.
This is a problem Bo Burnham actually talks about. He's like, everyone has an opinion about everything all the time, but it's like, minds stay closed, mouths stay open. I only, you know, we live in our echo chambers and blah, 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 blah. And it's the great irony or the circular problem of everyone needs to stop giving an opinion, but that's an opinion. We're in an endless cycle of too much information. Little bit of everything all of the time. You know, you know.
Get attacked and we blame terrorists. Go broke and we blame the price. Blame racists for the racism, but only if his skin is white. If we don't...
Blame racists for the racism, but only if they're a white guy. That's a true observation. Racism is not just a white person problem, and if you think it is, you're part of the problem, because that's a racist thought to have. And if you're thinking, well, who's this white guy to say that? Well, let's be clear. I'm pasty, but I'm not ethnically white. I'm Latino, Cuban, Puerto Rican, and Spaniard. I got Euro in me. I'm a mixed mutt, but no, I would not be classified as white. I am considered a minority in the state that I live in. So how do you feel now? Huh? Huh?
We don't need guns because we can call the police. We don't need fire extinguishers. Call a fireman, please.
We don't need guns because we can call the police. And he's like, okay, don't need fire extinguishers. Just call a fireman. Yeah, I haven't heard someone make the argument, you don't need guns, just call the police. That'd be a really dumb argument, especially since the same people who say that say defund the police. Have some logical integrity to your arguments, please. Consistency.
You didn't want to build a wall and now the border is weak. Your favorite actor has a gate that's like 15 feet.
Yeah. Your favorite actor's got these giant gates, but they're like, oh, the wall is inhumane. Of course you gotta, but you got a gate around your house? I mean, I don't think the border wall was a great idea. We gotta reform immigration. I don't think a giant wall was the solution. But, you know, I'm understanding where Tom's coming from here. Tom and I agree on more than we don't. I'm probably very similar politically to Tom. Tom tends to lean into the right wing a bit more in his songs, but when he talks about stuff, he's not really in right wing. He's more moderate like I am. I tend to trigger liberals and conservatives alike because I don't agree with either of them. All I know is you're all psychopaths. You all drank way too much of the Kool-Aid. Maybe talk to some moderates every now and then. We'll set you straight.
Racism is gay. If you're offended, that's retarded.
Tom usually censors his YouTube songs. Maybe he stopped doing that. I gotta take a bite for that. Racism is gay. If you're offended, you're retarded. Boy, oh boy. That's that line that Tom puts in there for all of the really pretentious reviewers that are always on Tom's balls, who are very liberal usually. Because anyone who's a moderate political person or a conservative might like hype that line way more, like, oh, you said retarded, and like get way too excited about it. But for someone that's like a moderate take, it's like, yeah, I get what you're doing. You're just trying to piss off the other side because they get overly offended by stuff, right? In this context, I like it. It's not a thoughtful line. It's literally just, I want to piss off a specific group of people line. And it will. They'll be like, this is just lazy lyricism. He's trying to be edgy when he's not. It's like they're trying to say that what he's doing doesn't trigger them while being triggered. And it is a delight to see. That's Tom playing chess and them playing checkers, but Tom is playing chess using pieces from a checkers board. If you get the analogy, you get it.
And tolerance is great until you speak and you're a target. If a white man paints his face black, he's a racist piece of garbage.
Blackface isn't good, but let's see what his butt is about here. Butt stuff.
But you put him in a dress and he's courageous and he's gorgeous.
Okay, that's where they're going. We're gonna not agree on this fully, Tom. He's compared blackface to transgender issues now. To be honest, I haven't seen any white guys who have tried to transition races getting crap. They're usually just ignored. I've seen like 2 instances in the political space. Someone has honestly said, I identify as like a black person, and they're like trying to get pigmentation surgery and stuff like that, and they did not get a wave of cancel or haters. So I don't think this comparison holds up, because he's trying to point out a hypocrisy. I don't think this hypocrisy exists in this instance in the left. I'm just gonna say no to that one, Tom.
All these double standards, man, I'm tired of the noise. Freedom's an illusion if they censor your voice.
I mean, government regulation probably needs to change to view big tech as different than just any other private business, since it's like the way to communicate. And that'll happen when we have, congressmen and senators that aren't a million years old and don't know how to send an email. One of the only times that you'll see me in favor of any sort of government regulation or control is when it comes to a point that the people have their power stripped from them. It's kind of like, control when it comes to monopolies. Government should be able to break up corporate monopolies and things like that. That needs to happen with different rules and regulations that need to be created for big tech, etc. Because the censorship we get is from private organizations right now more than the government themselves. In fact, the private organizations censored our own government when they blocked Donald Trump. The issue isn't the government there, but the freedom issues that America faces, being a not very free country compared to the rest of the free world, Americans have deluded themselves into thinking that we're like the most free country ever. No, get outside of the country and you'll see we're not the most free country in the civilized Western world. That's why we have the most people arrested per capita. It's not because we're just doing that many more crimes. We just have a lot more laws that can get you in jail. That's called not being free, if you didn't know. If there's a lot more laws that can get you arrested, that means you have less freedoms. That's like literally part of that definition. The government and media has brainwashed us pretty well to think that we're like this super free country while making us not free. But I digress on that and say that Tom was talking about censorship somewhere, and this reaction is going to take forever, like all Tom MacDonald reactions do. Buckle up.
Call a dad a deadbeat for neglecting his boys, but a mom kills a baby and you call it pro-choice.
Well, we got that abortion stuff again. I've ranted about this before. Check my Tom MacDonald playlist if you want to search to find out my views on abortion. You're going to have to watch through the Tom MacDonald playlist, baby. I don't even know which one it is. You're just going to have to binge them all. Sorry about you.
You act like you're so much better than us. Yeah, we know that.
Nova, good job on the video as always. Yeah, we know that. This actually feels more like a Nova Rockefeller hook. Maybe I won't hate this hook. Tom and I have an interesting relationship when it comes to hooks.
Who told you that you so special?
And don't get it confused. I don't think his hooks are bad in the sense that they won't be popular. I just don't enjoy listening to most of his hooks. There's a big difference. Some people are like, oh, you say you don't like his hooks? Well, look how many views he gets and listens he gets. I'm like, that's cool. I didn't say that what he did isn't going to be popular. I said I didn't like it. I don't like the musical structure of it. What you're saying is completely irrelevant to what I'm saying. Don't be guilty of the stuff that Tom's talking about. Closed-minded but open-mouthed and super inconsistent in your logical train of thought, huh?
Your facts ain't facts without censoring us. Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, we know that. That's the part I like the most. That's the most Nova Rockefeller part of the hook. Yeah, we know that. I like that. And that'll get stuck in your head. Yeah, you're like, oh, your facts, they need to censor other facts. He said this earlier. I like the way he worded this in another song better. I don't remember what he said at all. Hooray for memory loss. But something along the lines of if it's actually true. You don't have to censor other people, but he said it in a really cool, creative way. Someone comment below. You know the line I'm talking about. You comment it.
Good job, you lose. Here's your medal to a new world order. Why they hate the flag? They try to burn it to the ground.
Why are we starting with why they hate the flag? They try to burn it to the ground. I think flag burning is the least of our worries. You could burn the flag if you want to. It's the whole point of freedom is do what you want.
Don't do that in front of me. I'ma let off a round pop.
Man, you gonna shoot someone for burning a flag? Chill out, bro. Yeah, that's anti-freedom right there. Come on.
Scream loud, burn the city down now. Put it on the news, make them all feel proud. Look.
Burning down the city, that happens in Oregon a lot. They gotta get their crap under control.
Make a system where 85% of black people fill the prison. Is it cause they black or they make bad decisions? I ain't good at math, but it seems like it's division.
I mean, we're touching a subject with a lot of issues. First of all, crime rate goes up in impoverished areas. In the US, impoverished areas are oversaturated with minorities who have been there for generations and generations and generations in a cycle of poverty. And they never get out of the poverty in large part because the education system in those areas is also terrible because our education system is based on tax dollars from the local areas. So you have a bunch of poor people who don't make a lot of money, so the schools don't get a lot of money, so their kids stay uneducated, and then their uneducated kids end up just turning to crime because they're not well educated. And then the cycle continues. Now, you have to go, where did this all start? And it all started with systemic racism because people didn't like black people. Now, that's where I think there's a disconnect between, the right and the left when it comes to racism in modern day America. I think the left tries to play it like there's active racism holding people back all the time, which really isn't a narrative that's very easy to justify. Right? It's what gives people like Ben Shapiro an easy access to winning every debate on systemic race issues, because for some reason the left wants to point at like active institutionalized racism that exists today, right now. And there's not a lot of it. That's just the fact of the matter. We've grown as a country. What the left should be talking about, which would probably get the right more interested in helping deal with the real issues that exist in America that hold back minorities especially, is dealing with the very clear institutionalized racism that laid the foundation for where we are now and how we can move forward by fixing it. It's that difference between, it's not that we're doing stuff actively now, but we've set into motion stuff that needs to be reversed. And how we do that, I'm not even going to begin to try to spend enough time on that right now. That would be a whole other thing. But that's where Adam's talking about. And I think this is one of the areas where conservatives and liberals just are completely way too far away from each other because both sides talk about the wrong issues.
Or is it white privilege? I believe politicians need to be locked up. Try to take our freedoms, that's how you get shot up.
I mean, if politicians followed the same laws that everyone else does, most of our elected officials would be in jail. And that's true in most countries. They do insider trading, behind the scenes dealing, bribery. This stuff is like common and it comes out all the time and they still don't go to jail. You can lie under oath in Congress and have no repercussions. You do whatever you want if you're a politician. You'll be fine until you piss off the wrong politician. Then you'll end up Epsteining yourself.
Got our back against the wall, try to just stop us. More guns, more ammunition, please stock up.
Please stock up. The conservative macho fantasy that one day will be the uprising with our guns that stops the government. No, you won't. The way that a civil war happens is if our own military splits. Just the American people versus the American government. The army's owned by the government. So the coup has to happen within the army. This idea that it's the people with our rifles will be the ones that, no, I mean, you could instigate the start of an insurrection, but at some point, the army that exists, the one that you want to pay more tax dollars to make it the biggest army in the world, they have to be on your side, at least part of them. Conservatives always are voting for more money to go into military spending. You've made yourself the best army in the world. You think that you and your AK-47 is going to stand a chance against the greatest army in the world that you funded? And you also, in the George Bush Jr. era, told them that they could spy on you at all times with the Patriot Act? And now literally have a tracking device on you at all time? You're gonna take that army on. And that's the dumbest defense for keeping guns. That was true in the 1700s when your gun was the same as their gun. It's not true anymore. The government is afraid of us as a people the same as a government would be afraid of a people with no guns. Guns are for sport, personal protection. The idea that you can fight your government in an actual war, that doesn't exist in 2022. Times have changed. I'm sorry if I'm the first to tell you.
Election gets rigged, rights get infringed. Take this syringe, frighten you.
You saying the election's rigged? We had just a very polarizing political figure who went up against a wet rag, and people voted for the wet rag.
Election gets rigged, rights get infringed. Take this syringe, frighten your kids, show up right where you live.
Yeah, that was, they've done some weird stuff with the vaccine. It's not even that dangerous for kids. Tell the teachers to get vaxxed up. If they get it, they'll most likely be fine because the vaccine's very effective at making it so you don't die and are a lot less likely to end up in the hospital. Do what you've done with the flu shot forever. Really encourage it, bribe people to take it. We've been doing that with the flu shot for decades because we don't want more flu epidemics. So we bribe people to take it. We really encourage people to take it. Pretty much all of our medical professionals take it so they're not spreading it. It's always a different vaccine with the flu shot all the time because the flu is always making new variants. There's usually 2 or 3 flu vaccines in every single flu season. No, because they have to make new variants. It's the same concept. But if someone's like, nah, I don't want to. Okay, cool. The rest of us are going to, so that's fine. This control, this power move, though, is gross. And it's transparent. Anyone with any sense in them would know that this is being handled miserably. If the government was handling this in any sort of a rational way, way more people would be vaccinated. But this, like, you have to do it. Knee-jerk reaction for most people is, no, I'm not doing it. I don't trust you. Because why would they? I'm vaccinated, but it's because I look at the science behind it. But there are so many people who I know would have gotten vaccinated who didn't because they're weary of it because of the stupid crap.
Make me want to grab a rifle and just go.
This dude's got some issues with shooting away his problems, though. He's like, burn the flag, shoot you. Vaccine, shoot you. You sneezed weird, I'll shoot you. You need to get into some therapy, Calhoun.
Act like you're so much better than us. Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, that's another issue. If you're talking about left wing, they have this moral superiority, which is why their ideals become a lot more dangerous. This used to be true of the conservative right. I'm not saying this is an always thing. The conservative right, when I was really young, always had this moral agenda. They were a lot more Christian than they are now. And so everything was like this doomsday. If you don't do what we do, we're going to hell in a handbasket. It's this moral implication. And it made their thoughts very radical, very extreme, and very dangerous. Well, they've just kind of shifted. The right wing doesn't act that way anymore. They're more like, no, I just disagree with you. I don't think you're a bad person, but I don't agree with you. Whereas the left has now taken on that moral high ground where this is morally correct. So if you disagree with me, you're not only wrong, but you're immoral. And once you get that way, you become so closed off and closed-minded. When I was growing up, the right was super closed-minded and closed off. Now the right's pretty open-minded and the left is closed-minded. We've just shifted that weight and it's dangerous on either side.
Who told you that you so special to a new world order?
This pause is to assert my dominance. The New World Order on this channel is the same as it's always been. I pause whenever I want.
Your facts ain't facts without censoring us. Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, we know that. I love that.
Good job, you lose. Here's your medal to a new world order. And
New World Order. We got another Tommy Tom.
everyone blames white folks for every little bitty thing.
We talk about this a second time. We went over white folks get blamed for stuff.
We don't have no one to blame. We take responsibility.
I mean, sometimes. I know some people that don't take a lot of responsibility. They're like, nah, that was something someone else did. That's not taking responsibility. If your grandparents burned down someone's house, didn't do anything about it, and now the descendants of the people whose house got burned down comes to your house and says, yo, your grandparents burned down my house. I know that you didn't have anything to do with it, but we've never been able to really have a house ever since. Think you can help me figure out how to build a new house? And you're like, that was my grandparents. Bitch, why don't you learn how to build your own house? That's the attitude that a lot of white people have. So I don't think that's taking responsibility. I'm not saying that you're completely wrong to be like, that's not my problem, I wasn't involved. I get it. But you don't get to call that taking responsibility either.
They tell you be a man, then call it toxic masculinity. Then when you act too feminine, they call it white fragility.
Yeah. I mean, everyone just wants to criticize you, though. So they're always going to put you in a corner of whatever way they can label and critique you.
I don't understand trans man with.
Oh, we got another thing. Uh-oh. He said, I don't understand trans man. All right, where are we going, Calhoun? I feel like Tom's been a little more based than Adam so far, so let's see what Adam says.
I don't understand trans man with humility. I'm just trying to raise my kid the best of my ability.
Okay, he just says with humility. He's just saying, I don't get it. With humility, I'm just trying to raise my kids. Okay. Pleading ignorance is fine.
If I disagree, you try to cancel, get rid of me.
I mean, what way are you disagreeing, and what are you disagreeing with would really influence how someone might try to cancel you. Cancel culture is dumb in any form, but there are at least times where I can empathize with it even though I don't agree with it, and other times I'm just like, shut the hell up.
Cancer, you can't be the answer, you killing me. And I hate white supremacy.
Cancer, you can't be the answer, you killing me. He's calling him cancer, you can't be the answer. Cancer's the bad guy, you know?
See just as much as you, but I ain't feeling guilty for something I didn't do.
There we go. We just talked about this earlier. He's like, I hate white supremacy just as much as you, but I'm not guilty of something I didn't do. Again, both sides have a point, but that also has to do with, was it actually your ancestors, right? Someone might look at me and I look white enough and I'm like, well, I literally on neither side of my family have any ancestors who had any part in any of this. There are a lot of people like that who you look at their ancestry and it's like, okay, it literally isn't my problem. I wasn't here. You're basing this based on what I look like racially. Then there's other people who it was their families. Their family lineage was part of this and it's dicey, right? What is their responsibility? That's I think, for individuals to wrestle with and decide.
The system's killing everyone, it sucks, but it's true. They kill you, then they broadcast it and call it the news.
I mean, violence, sadness, and anger sells. Algorithms are designed to keep you angry more than to keep you happy, because angry people stay on their phones longer. When you're happy, you actually usually put down your phone. Algorithms have learned this. It wasn't like a deliberately programmed thing. They just made a learning machine to learn how to keep people on the platform at any expense. And what that learning machine found is if you get happy, you actually put down your phone and do something else a lot of the times. You're like, oh, I feel good. I got energy. Let's go do something. But when you're angry and sad, you stay on your phone. So the 24-hour news cycle and everything else to keep you watching keeps you angry, sad, upset, and afraid because you'll stay watching.
Or they'll brainwash you through social media feeds. And if you disagree, delete you immediately.
I mean, depends on the social media platform. Twitter's cancer. It's one of the worst. Facebook and Instagram are pretty lenient, to be honest. So it really depends where you're at. But Twitter, yeah. I mean, Twitter is left-wing nonsense transparently so, and it's always been a garbage site anyway. I follow a rule that you should all follow. Only Twitter when on the shitter.
Make America China, pretty easy to see.
Make America China. I mean, some people want that. Some people like the communist setup of China. I don't think there's too much of an open plan for that. I think it'd be more likely that China would just take us over rather than us become China.
I will always remember the land of the free.
You'll remember the land of the free? I don't think we've been the land of the free since anyone in this video, myself included, was alive. America's got a very interesting history. The most free our country was still wasn't free for certain people. It'd be nice if we could have a time when we were the country that we said we were and everyone was free.
Act like you're so much better than us. Yeah, we know that.
I think we're just running the chorus again. I'm gonna rock out to this and I'll see you in a second. Good job, Nova! The Brave, Calhoun, and MacDonald. Oh, that's a new album with both of them. Oh boy, there'll be some songs in there. Well, this is gonna be hell to edit. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Don't forget to check out Subpar Rap Battles of YouTube coming tomorrow if you're watching this when this comes out, and watch the old one and blah blah blah. Comment all of your disagreements or agreements in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. Become a member of this channel because, you know, YouTube ad revenue doesn't do crap, especially when we talk about spicy stuff like this. So become a YouTube channel member or a Patreon member so that I can keep the lights on in here. And until next time, I scheme, you scheme, we all scheme for ice cream. Bye!